4th try. Hole below the target. After an hour, the team of stupid Pokemon were digging below the base with shovels and lights. Okay, the next plan is to take him by digging a hole just below, and we got the treasure, Gengar said excited. It can't be worth this much effort, Gengar said excited, obviously losing his behavior. Treasure? Ekans asked with shiny eyes. Gengar slapped him. No, you fool! The kid is the treasure. So creepy. Oh, I see, the snake Pokemon said. Now they were just below their treasure. Yeah, the snake. Don't even say Pokemon, just say the snake. Now they were just below their treasure. Ugh. Gengar commanded Ekans to dig through the roof, because somehow Gengar knew Chris was just above where Ekans was standing. Yes, somehow. The snake Pokemon slowly dug through the ground to avoid making any noise. He stopped a moment when he saw a blue spot just above his head. Guys, I found him. He is there, Ekans whispered. Gengar grinned after he saw the blue spot in the roof. The ghost Pokemon's plan was now to dig all the ground around the spot so Chris could fell in it without any sound. Without thinking again, they started to dig the ground again. What? Okay. Finally, we will succeed, Medicham sang and whispered. The hole was complete and their prize fell in it. They grabbed it and ran outside the base behind some trees. Now let's put him down, Gengar said, grinning. However, when they placed Chris on the ground, they found a rather, or very, annoyed and enraged Lucario. Well, that's pretty fucking predictable, isn't it? You three won't stop annoying me, right? The Aura Pokemon asked, very irritated with a menacing glare. The team ran away scared, but Lucario didn't let them escape alive. Oh no, sorry, Lucario didn't let them escape alive without shooting a big aura sphere. I presume let them, but I don't know. Escape alive without shooting a big aura sphere to them. It exploded and they blasted off again. Oh, I see, that's why the chapter, one of the names for the chapter was about Team Rocket or something. Then Lucario returned to the base and he sat down close to Chris, placing his arm above him again, and he fell asleep. 5th try. Fuck's sake, 5th try. Just take him. Another hour later, it's still nighttime apparently. Another hour later, a furious Gengar just walked inside the base like nothing happened. He grabbed the sleeping Riolu from the sleeping Lucario, and he walked away with him outside behind some trees. Alright, well, behind some trees. See, we failed again. Jeez, Gengar said, not noticing the Pokemon he was holding in his purple hands. But isn't he the kid? Ekans asked, looking at Chris. Ellipsis. Gengar thought for a moment when he realized his act. All right, we got him. It's about freaking time. Shh, you're going to awake him, Medicham said. Oh, that's right. We should escape now. The team nodded to each other. They walked just to the right of the base until they heard a tiny sound coming from their prey. What is he doing? Ekans asked just then. Chris was making noises of what appears terror. He probably was having a nightmare in his sleep. Then he started to cry, very aloud. Oh no, crying aloud. He's just sort of going, as opposed to actually crying, making the 3 mischievous Pokemon to block their ears. Ah! Shut up! I can't resist this anymore! Said an annoyed Gengar, blocking his ears from the loud noise. When Gengar, Medicham, and Ekans opened their eyes, they saw a big shadow in the ground just in front of them. They gulped in unison, and when they turned their backs, Lucario was standing there with his arms crossed, showing his fangs, glowing intensely and glaring menacingly again at the 3 annoying Pokemon. He saw Chris crying in Gengar's hands. The Pokemon! In your hands! Now! Lucario said with a terrorizing tone, extending his left hand at them. What Pokemon? You are probably blind, sir, Medicham sang, terrified. Grrr! Here is him! Take him, please, take him! Gengar gave Lucario the crying Riolu. He grabbed him, wrapping him up with his left arm. But still he was glaring at the three Pokemon, and Chris was still crying. Is something wrong? Ekans asked, terrified. Lucario stomped the ground in rage, and they stood still, watching the Aura Pokemon approaching. I mean, if he was close enough to them that they could hand Chris to him, he can't be doing very much approaching. If I ever see you three again, you will meet your graves very soon, understand? Yes, they replied in unison. Whee! Fucking, yeah, alright. That's what it says. It's not, I'm not trying to do a fucking Normies get out or whatever, that's just what it says to, Whee! Oddly enough, Chris made a high-pitched scream, which made Lucario's aura to grow bigger than before. Alright. Now go away! Lucario said enraged. Doesn't attribute this next bit, just but first we need to... Lucario made a huge roar. I mean, look at that fucking thing. Lucario made a huge roar that made the earth below him tremble. That's a pretty long... A lot of G's, U's, A's, R's, and H's. That made the earth below him to tremble. Mommy! The Team Meanies ran away at high speed to not being killed by the Aura Pokemon. The Riolu Lucario was holding was still crying. He just hugged him close to his chest, near where his spike is. Imagine if after all that, Lucario just accidentally impaled him and killed him. Chris was stopping slowly his tears, and he soon calmed down. Lucario walked inside the base with Chris still in his arms, and he sat again, leaning to the wall, and he fell asleep. 3 seconds later, Chris was smiling, with tears coming from his eyes. What is he, 2? Alright, the next morning. I couldn't sleep so well, Chris said, rubbing his head. I had a nightmare where 3 shadows wanted to take me away, but at the end, Lucario appeared from nowhere, and he defeated them. Oh, fucking fancy that. So that was a really that whole section was a really worthwhile use of time, I think. Lucario remembered the incidents of last night. Chris's nightmare was almost the same thing Lucario was experiencing. Chris closed his eyes, and he smiled at Lucario. I'm happy to have you with me. Me too, Lucario replied with a little smile. Ugh, at least you two didn't got my trouble, Mudkip said. What? What do you mean? Chris asked. Last night, I could have sworn many noises inside our base. Most of them were either punches or roars. He got in a thinking position. And after that, there was another earthquake. There was another earthquake, right, Chikorita? Mudkip looked at Chikorita. Yeah, there was another earthquake. Do you think it happened because of the natural disasters? I think so, Mudkip replied. Just then, Caterpie, along with Butterfree, the 2 Jumpluffs from yesterday, came running at them, panting heavily. Hey guys, what's wrong? Chikorita asked. It's Alakazam's team. They haven't returned yet from their mission, Caterpie said in shock. The eyes of the team widened after hearing this. What? But they always finish their missions in less than 2 hours! Chikorita exclaimed. We know that, but everyone in Pokemon Square are worried, Butterfree pointed out. And we're also worried about Shiftry, both Jumpluffs said in unison. So, are we going to rescue them? Chris asked. Chikorita, Chris, Lucario, we're going to rescue Alakazam's team and Shiftry from Zapdos, Mudkip said. The other 3 mentioned Pokemon nodded.